Whoa. Awesome. All right. Just gonna make old man sounds over here. Come on. There we go. Perfect. Hi, thanks so much for joining me for Pilates Sculpt all levels. My name is Audra, and we're going to use weights today. As always, listen to your body. Don't do anything that doesn't feel right. Feel free to take breaks. Feel free to modify as needed. We're going to get started standing. Let's go ahead, come to standing, and just kind of check in with your body to start, right? So just start noticing where your feet are, if your weight is all in your heels, if it's all in your toes, or if you can center your weight. And then just notice your knees. Are they bent? Are they hyperextended? Or are they just in a neutral? And then kind of notice where your hip bones are, if they're pointing down, pointing up, or straight ahead. Yeah. And then the ribs. If you think of your ribs like the lid of a soup pot, right? It sits directly over your pelvis. Notice if it's lifted the other way, or just gently sitting. And then shoulders and ears, right? Nobody's neutral looks exactly the same as anybody else's. It's just trying to find your neutral. And then nod your chin, hollow out through the front of your body, and just roll down, allowing your back to relax. Maybe getting a little hamstring stretch. And just gently nod your head yes. And gently shake your head no. And then take your hands up and over to one side. Just notice how that side feels. Up and over to the other side. Okay. Come back to center. And then shift your weight back into your heels. And then forward into your toes. Then center your weight. Scoop and roll yourself all the way up. Letting your head be the last thing to arrive. We're nodding our chin and rolling down one more time. Yeah, just see if there are any sticky spots. And if you are, the next time we roll down, see if you can breathe into them. Scoop and roll all the way back up. Last one for now. So if you're peeling your spine off of a wall, and then roll it all the way back up to standing. Now bring one hand behind your back and one hand like onto your lower abs. Now, on your exhale, I just want you to pull your low abs away from your hand without pushing into your back hand, right? So exhale, just draw your hand, yep, and then relax. So if you imagine that I've got like a rubber band and I'm threatening you guys with it, like I'm not necessarily gonna flick you with it, but you wanna like tighten up just in case, right? Yeah, and relax. And now see if you can do it without changing the shape of your spine or changing the position of your pelvis, right? It's just a little engagement. Yep, good. Two more like this. Everybody feel those low abs kicking on just a little bit? Good. Last one. Gorgeous. Now, when I say to engage your abs in a neutral, no matter what position we're in, I want you to keep this in mind, all right? Now keep those abs engaged and just inhale, trying to keep your abs engaged, right? It's really hard. So now let your abs go 10% on your inhale, trying to expand through your back and sides. Good. And then exhale, deepen your engagement. Good. Good. One more. And now nod your chin. Think about shortening the distance between your hips and your ribs. We're rolling down, coming all the way to hands and knees. Good. Now, hands and knees, try to find your neutral spine. Let your whole spine sink to the ground, shoulder blades come together, and then whole spine lifts. So we're not going into a Halloween cat, we're keeping our spine in neutral as we sink down and lift up. Two more. Just sink your whole spine in one piece, lift your whole spine in one piece. Good. You don't have to bend your elbows. It's just shoulder blades. Yeah. On your next one, think about pulling your hands apart, widening through your collarbones. Good. Finding those low abs in your neutral and keeping your thoracic spine still, just tuck your tailbone slightly. And then unwind your hips to neutral. This is a tiny little baby move, right? Engage, tiny tuck. Good. And back. Good. Couple more. Engage, little baby tuck, and back. One more. Now hold this. Slide one foot out, push the foot into the ground. Inhale, exhale, maybe that other foot comes to meet it. Good. Beautiful, everybody. Holding that plank. And if you need to be on your forearms, of course, you can be on your forearms. Lengthening out through the crown of your head. Slide one of your feet out to the side. Bring it back. Other side. Now, if you need to be on your knees, it's great. Okay, no problem. Trying to keep our ears pointing away as opposed to down, so don't drop your head. It's kind of easy to be here, but that changes the position of our entire spine. Two more. Last one, hold. Bend one knee underneath you, reach it back. Other side. If you need a break, take one. Trying to keep your hip bones still and stable. If you're on your forearms, you have to lift a little higher and your knee might not go as far. That's okay. Couple more here. If you're on your knees, you can absolutely just pull the knee in towards your chest. We have two more. Last one. Knees down, press yourself into a rest position. Rolling out your wrists. Gorgeous, everyone. How you feeling? Good? You're like, I guess. Yeah, fantastic. Coming back onto hands and knees. First, curl one knee towards your face. Find your abs, right? Good. And then unwind a little. Same side curl. Now maybe this is where you are today. If you think about that ab engagement before you move, you should feel some work. Maybe you want to up level it, in which case slide the other foot out, curl, and then tap it back down. Curl and down. Good. Four more on this side. Three. Think about creating a tiny little nugget shape. Two. Last one. Other side. So start on hands and knees and just find the work before you add on, right? Now maybe this is where you stay today. Maybe you go into your plank. Whatever feels best for you and your body is what I would like you to try. And if you try one and you're like, I don't know, you're not married to it. Good. Three more. And two. Last one. Knees down. Nice job. We're gonna come on to our forearms. Everybody doing all right? Good. Slide one foot out. Slide the other foot out. Good. Gorgeous. Now our forearm planks feel a little different. We're gonna hold and then knees down. Press yourself into a rest position. So maybe full plank is where you are today. Okay, maybe it's not, we will see. So you can be on forearms and knees, forearms and feet, hands and knees, or hands and feet. But whichever way, I want you to widen your feet, bring your hands or forearms closer together, rotate to one side. Yeah, if you're on your knees, You can always bend one. Yeah? Good. Gorgeous. And hold. And then slowly rotate down. I didn't see anything. It doesn't count. Yeah. And then other side. And we hold. Right? We're pushing the floor away with our elbow, with our glute, lifting our ribs, closing them, and then other side. Back and forth. If your arm is up, make sure it's lifting you towards the sky, not rotating you back. Good. So your fingertips have to be like laser beams to the sky, like you have magnets on your fingertips. Good. It can be on your forearm and your knee. Good. No problem. And other side. Back and forth just a couple times. You guys doing okay? Doing great? Amazing? Good. Last one. And come back to center, knees down. Rest position. Good. All right. Go ahead and come back onto all fours. Widen your knees just a little bit. Find your neutral pelvis, right? So we're not tucking anymore. Good. Find your abs without the tuck. And just press your sits bones towards your heels a little bit. And then use your glutes here to help stabilize you and then bring them back. Good. So we're coming into some extra hip flexion here, okay? But we are not rounding our back, okay? We're pausing before we need to, and we are trying to use our glutes to help stabilize us to the point where as if we took our hands away, our abs and glutes would help, okay? If you want to try it, go for it. Yeah. Last two. Maybe you're like, I can come up onto my fingertips or slide one hand back. That's fine. You don't have to do both. And also keep in mind, if you're too far forward, unless you have that strength, you know, it's hard to maintain. Yeah. Good. Nice. And then tuck your toes under, press up into a downward dog, walking your hands and feet together. And roll all the way up. Nice. All right, so I want you to think about abs and hip flexion here. Bend your knees a little bit. Okay? You can bring your hands to your spine. You guys were all like this, like, what are we doing? I'll show you, let's do it. Bend your knees. So think about that hip flexion here without letting the back round, right? Because it's not about hamstring flexibility, it's about glute activation, yeah? Push into the floor, lift back up. Good. Now, when we come up, no arching, no tucking. We're still squeezing those glutes forward, so we get slight hip extension, but we don't have to change the position of our spine, right? Abs engage, yeah. Good. Everybody feeling that? Good. Now also notice, if you're like, man, I feel my back a lot, see if you are just leaning forward or if you're allowing your sits bones to slide back. If you're just leaning forward, you're lengthening your lever, which is going to require more work, right? Just like if I had a 5-pound weight, this isn't nearly as much work as this is, right? So letting your sits bones slide back shortens your lever a little bit, yeah? Good. All right, so you can always stick with both feet, or we're going to bring our toes together. Think about squeezing your inner thighs as if you're trying to pop a balloon. Get those glutes active, tap one foot behind you. That foot no longer exists. Bend your knees slightly. Exact same move. Slide those sits bones back, push into the floor, and then squeeze to lift. Good. Don't forget about the push. If you're like, why? Well, try it one without, right? Where you just move your spine without the connection to your foot, right? If you've ever worked on the reformer, right? When you push against the foot bar, it closes your kinetic chain. And that's what we're doing. We're basically using the floor as a prop. Good. Now, if you're like, this is too easy, great, spread your toes, lift the foot you're ignoring. Now, all of you are on your mat, which is an unstable environment, right? Which is amazing. If you're like, oh my God, it's too unstable, either tap the toe down or come onto the floor, okay? You might notice I'm on the floor and in shoes, right? Because I need the extra support. Good. Good. Everybody feeling that glute a little bit? Yes. Just you wait, it's gonna be great. Two more. Good save. Last one, we're gonna hold it down. So if you think of spreading your sits bones, hopefully you're feeling that glute connecting in its eccentric lengthened position, right? Slide your stabilizing toe away from you, fold it in, reach it away, bring it in. Or push through an imaginary viscous substance, like pudding. Yeah. 5, and if you need a break, take 1. 4, breathing into your back. So expanding into your lumbar spine and ribs, and then exhaling from the front. 2. Last one. Now you have options here. I'll show you all of them. Make sure that your knee is still staying in line with your second and third toe here, okay? The whole time. So we're going to open our hips up off of our thigh, keeping that knee in alignment, right? So once your hips have moved, check it out. If your foot is now pointing in, or your toe or your knee, I need it to externally rotate. A little bit more external rotation. Yeah. Good, better. And then rotate it down. Now, if you're like, yeah, cool, easy, you lift and hold, and bring it in. But we're trying to find knee stability and glute activation. So think of a clamshell here, right? We are externally rotating our thigh bone, right? Good, yeah. Keeping that knee in alignment. I know it's a lot of balance work too. 4. Anybody not finding that glute? Great. Notice how I have to touch like the wall, right? Yeah. 2. Keeping those ribs engaged. Last 1. Good. Now find your easy position. And by easy position, I mean, it might challenge the muscles, but it's easy to maintain, yeah? Toe tap down. Lift the foot, tap it down. Lift, tap. Good. If you need to, don't go as far, right? You can always come back to this forward position, okay? If you need to, if you're like, okay, I wanna go a little bit, go like an inch. And then maybe test the waters of an inch. Yeah, we have 4. Try to keep your hips and shoulders in alignment. 3, 2, last 1. Yeah, other side. Also, same. All right, so tap the toe behind you no longer exists. Bend your knees. Think about sliding your sits bones back a little bit. Hold, push into the floor. Hopefully you feel that help your glutes light up even more. Squeeze the cheeks, find your abs, and then slowly extend. We're also trying not to just extend out through our knees here for a couple reasons. One, It puts more tension on our back and hamstrings if we keep our knees straight throughout. 2, if we keep our knees locked out, we can pass out, which none of us want, I'm assuming. I would prefer it. Good. And then if you're like, yeah, this is cool, too easy, lift that foot. Get that extra balance. Good. Find that connection. Good. We're trying to find a little bit of hip extension before knee extension. Yeah. Like, what song is this? Good. Got a few more. Good. 3. Good. 2 more. Last one, hold it down. And then whether your foot is down or not, or extend, bring it in. Extend, bring it in. Or push through midair. Imagine pushing through wet sand. Side note, I still have not found the technical term for wet sand, right? Like, because wet dirt is mud. I do not know what wet sand is. Good. Few more. How's that standing side? So good. 3 more. You're amazing. 2 more. Now, whether that toe is down or not, it's fine. Just make sure that knee is lined up, yeah? So we think of our clamshell in that, except this time our hips are rotating off the thigh as opposed to the thigh rotating. Yeah, and then check your knee. Yeah, second or third toe. Take your knee a little, yeah. So, yeah, perfect. So right where your knee is right now, keep it there. Yeah, good, good. Or you lift your foot, yeah, same, right? Now, if you're like me, like having the toe down is just a little too easy, but having the foot up is just a tiny bit too challenging. Use your finger, right? Hold on to a surface, yeah. It's really fascinating how our nervous system responds to even just a finger or 2 touching an unmoving surface. 2 more. Now, whichever way you can easily hold, whether it's out here, down here, or here, we are just tapping, lifting. When we lift, try not to shorten from our ribs. Say push away, really getting that glute involved, yeah? So if you're here, still use your abs, breathing into the backs of your ribs, the sides of your ribs, or here, no problem. Or here, also no problem. We have 5 and 4, 3, 2, last 1. Nice job, everybody. All right. Now, just for funsies, we can do this with 1 foot lifted, or we can just have our feet kind of in a tightrope position. But I want you to stick your hips out to one side. Yeah, same side as front leg. I know, super, super cute, right? We're not gonna stay here. I want you to think about this glute activating to push you back to center, right? Try to keep your hips relatively lined up. Yeah, and then stick it out again, and then squeeze the glute to come back to center. If that's too easy, tap the toe down, ignore the foot, imagine that you're just on one leg. Still too easy, lift the foot. Now, think about inner thigh helping the glute, okay? So we are trying to find our lateral stabilization system. If you're like, what are you talking about? I'll tell you. This helps us not have too much sway when we're walking, right? It helps keep it controlled. It's our glute medius. It's our inner thigh. It's our opposite QL. Yes, our TFL also kicks on, but I want us to kind of ignore the TFL a little. So think booty, inner thigh, at 2. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Last one. Hold. Push into the floor. Now, if your foot is down, we're going to lift it. And just hold. Yeah. Yeah. If you're like, my balance isn't great today, that's okay. Tap the toe or just have it low. Yeah. Good. Now, tap that toe. Sink down into a little kind of athletic position / single leg squat. Make sure that you aren't letting the knee come in or the toes come out if you can help it. Lift the foot, hold. Push into the floor to lift you. Yeah. Tap, sink. Now, if lifting with that foot elevated isn't in your wheelhouse today, tap it back down, okay? That's okay. Sometimes it's about strength. Sometimes it's about the way our nervous system wants to move, yeah? So, is it the end of the world if you're like, I'm much stronger than this, but I can't quite get it? No, not at all, right? Sometimes we have to honor where our nervous system is telling us it is, right? That's okay. Sometimes it just takes a couple tries, yeah? Good, 3, 2. Yeah, last one. Hold, then hold. Hold, yeah. And press and lift, awesome. Other side, how's that booty feeling? So good. All right, so, yeah, same, Beth, same, yeah. Yeah, so first, it's tightrope. Stick it out. Think about that glute helping. Try to keep your hips relatively even. Yeah. Couple more. Oh, hey, what's up? And squeeze. Now, if you're like, cool, that's too easy, can tap the toe, right? Don't be afraid to push into the floor. Yeah. Or lift the foot, right? Good. A few more. Yeah. Good. Hey, everybody. Give me little spirit fingers. Yeah. Oh, did that help your balance a little? Yeah? Good. Couple more. We're just letting that hip lower and lift. Keeping that knee relatively still. Yeah. Good. We don't have to bend it. Yeah. 2. Last one, we're going to hold. Yeah, hold. Good. Tap that toe down. Sink it down. Inhale. Exhale, sneak that foot out from underneath you. Boom. And then push into the floor. Yeah. Good. Now maybe you're like, okay, well that's challenging enough, but if I tap my toe down, I can do it. Great. Maybe you're like, I'm just going to keep my foot down. Fantastic. Maybe you're like, I got this. I don't need any help. That's fine. Just make sure that you aren't letting your knee go in crazy positions, right? Good. Nice job, everybody. Slowly lowering, holding isometrically, and then using that concentric force. Yeah, allowing your knee to bend, right? Your ankle needs to bend, your knee needs to bend as much as your hips, right? So if, when you get down, you lift and your knee immediately does this, tap it down, try to find that position. Yeah, yeah. Got 2 more. You got this. And up. Last one. We get to hold it down. Hold. 4, 3, 2, bring it up. Grab your weights. You're all fantastic. Good. Now, hello. Feel the weights kind of pulling your shoulders down, and let your shoulders just relax. Okay? You don't have to try to retract. You don't have to elevate. Just let them chill. Yeah. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Yeah. And then squeeze your glutes. Turn your palms forward. Bring your arms up. And then slowly, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Glorious. So we are really working the eccentric here. If you're like, this is too easy, I don't really feel my muscles on the eccentric, congratulations, you need heavier weights for this. All right? Now, if you want, oh, hey, what's up? Yeah. Good. 4 more. Yeah. Beautiful. 2. Last one. Now, just be aware we're about to take our arms overhead. Yeah. So I'm looking at you, girl. Now, inhale, exhale, push. And then slowly, slowly lower. And then push overhead. And then slowly, slowly, slowly lower. Gorgeous, yeah. 4. Hey, everybody feeling that leg too? Yeah. 3. Yeah. So the reason we're working eccentrics here, anybody know? Oh, I'll tell you. Last one. Now we're going to hold it overhead for triceps. You can do triceps down here if you need to, okay? Keep the ribs closed, slowly lower. Yeah, and then press. So the reason we are focusing on the eccentric component is, sounds ridiculous, during the force velocity curve of the muscle action spectrum, told you it sounded ridiculous, the eccentric causes you to actually have to exert more force to control it. So you get stronger, faster. And it helps your nervous system be able to stabilize. 2. Last one. Bring it down. Biceps. Oh, hey. Squeeze those inner thighs together. Squeeze those glutes. Bicep. Slowly lower. Oh. You wanted a twist? Other side. Good. Yeah. So, finding those ribs, finding those glutes. Gorgeous. Yes. How's this feeling, everybody? So good? Good. Notice how the exact same weight is much lighter going this way, much heavier going this way, right? Yeah. 4, 3. You're all champions. Make sure you don't have a huge grip on your weights. Relax your grip. We don't want that blood pressure to spike. Yeah. Good. All right, you ready? Hold. We're going overhead. Slowly lower. Yeah. Slow it down on the way down. So remember, we can't actually move what we can't stabilize. So, working the slow, slow, slow. Almost there. 3, 2. Last one. Arms overhead for triceps. And then close the ribs, bend at the elbows. Good. If you need to, tap your toe down, right? Good, a few more here. 4, 3. Anybody about to fall over? Just me? Okay. 2. Last 1. Nice job. Yeah. We're actually going to come all the way down for now. Don't worry. We haven't forgotten squats and lunges. We're just going to wait. So go ahead. Come all the way down. Now, first, actually, let's talk about this. When we're down, I want your shoulder blade to be able to lie flat. I don't care if your shoulder touches the ground as much as the shoulder blade is flat, okay? So we're about to do some kind of like push-up or bench press move, but if your shoulder blade is up and it stays up, that's gonna cause your shoulder to come forward and internally rotate in the socket. We want it in neutral. We also want to think about our serratus. So front of your lat, that front armpit muscle, you can think about leading with your pinky finger, and then you can almost externally rotate through your upper arm bone a little bit, and then widen through your collarbones to come down. If you're tight in your pec, maybe you don't bring your arm all the way down. Okay, you can also do this without weight. In fact, for the first couple, I encourage you to try it without weight. Okay, so find your shoulder blade being flat. And maybe one side you're like, oh yeah, flat's easy, and the other side is like less easy, right? Now, your core has to support you, but you don't have to necessarily brace, especially because we're not using that much weight. Reach your pinky fingers up, tiny external rotation through your arm bones, and then widen through your collarbones, let your shoulder blades be flat again, and then press up, okay? This should feel relatively easy. Then if you would like to add weight, of course you may. Slowly decelerating, trying to find the bottom tips of your shoulder blades a little bit, and then abs and serratus. Now our serratus anterior is a weird muscle in that it's a big muscle. It actually spans from, I believe, our first thoracic rib, right? Our first rib to our 12th rib, and it kind of draws around like little fingers, but it's also a really sleepy muscle. Our pec minor loves to try to do more of the work for it. 2 more here. Last one. Bring the weights down. Interlace your hands behind your head and spiral your elbows into your peripheral vision. Now this first, like we're gonna do a couple just to kind of experiment and see where we get the deepest connection from, okay? So this first one, we're just going to come into our chest lift by shortening the distance between our ribs and our hips. And now look at your lower abs, right? If they created this little doming shape, all that means is your rectus abdominis is trying to do more work, okay? So just see how it feels. Now on your next one, envision trying to come up and over a beach ball. See if that changed the sensation at all, yeah? Good. Now come down. On this next one, think about what we did at the beginning, where without changing the shape of our spine, we just had a little low ab engagement, and then come up. Good. Now do which one feels the best in your body. Cool? Great. Glad we had this chat. Good. Last one, hold it up. Yeah. Now looking in between your thighs, bring your hands forward, push your fingertips into an imaginary surface. Gorgeous. Hands can come back. Hold that. Push one foot into the ground, float your other leg up. Reach that foot away, push it into the ground. Good. Float. Yeah. How's that feeling, everybody? So good? Good. Now, if at any point you need a break, take one. Or if you're like, oh, I've just started sliding down, bring the hands forward. They will help you reset. Good. Anybody not feeling their abs? Gorgeous. Good. And remember, your hands are just a hammock for your head. 3, and 2. Last one. Good. Head comes down. Finding your support from your low abs, right? So this is going to be more intrinsic core stabilizer. You might not feel it as aggressively. That is okay. All right, so we're going to slide our hands underneath our hips. So we're framing our sacrum, that triangular bone. Find that abdominal engagement. Float one leg at a time to tabletop. Squeeze those inner thighs like you're trying to pop that balloon. And without letting yourself wobble, slowly point your toes towards the ground, knees away from you. Exhale, allow the knees to float up. And again, slowly lower. Exhale. Try to find that transverse abdominis, right? So that's your corseting muscle or your shrink wrap muscle. And it goes all the way from your thoracolumbar fascia on one side, around the sides, around the front, all the way to your thoracolumbar fascia on the other side. 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Good. Bring one foot at a time down. Take your hands out from beneath you. Now, just place your hands on your hip bones. Find your ribs, make sure they're not flipping up. They want to be integrated into your belly button still. Now we're just imprinting our spine and then rocking it back to center. That's it to start. Imprint and center. Now as you do this, see if you can find a little bit more abdominal. Trying not to over squeeze the glutes. I know that sounds crazy after all the glute work we just did, but now maybe this is where you are today. Maybe you bring your legs to tabletop, and as you imprint, your hips elevate a little, and then back to center. So we're not pulling our knees in to initiate, right? We're trying to initiate from the abs. So it's a little curl and back. Now maybe you decide you want to come up into your chest lift. Elbows slightly forward, and we curl up. Same thing though. But try to hold your tiny nugget shape for a second. Yeah, good. Now, if you'd like, you can aim your knees towards one of your shoulders. And then back to center. Then aim them to the other shoulder. We are still trying to initiate from the abs as opposed to the knees, right? If I pull my knees towards me, it's a lot bigger move, but it's a lot more momentum, yeah? How's everybody doing? So good? Good. 2 more. Last one, you're gonna hold it. Now keeping that same position, bend your heels down. Oh, it's so much harder, yeah, and then rock back. So if we curl and hold, and then holding that exact same position, we just bring our heels towards our buns, that actually puts more weight down low. So it changes the way we're having to stabilize, right? So we curl, and then we bring the knees down. And we curl, hold, heels come down. Yeah. You guys feel the difference there? So fun, yeah? 3, 2. Last one. Feet down, head down. Extend one of your feet out long. Now, if your hips chased your foot, see if you can pull your hip bone back into neutral. Push your heel down into the floor. Think about suction cupping that thigh bone into your socket. From your ribs, push the foot away. Maybe it starts to hover, maybe it doesn't. And then push down into your heel. Drive it away. Now, if you're up for it, come into your chest lift. Push the heel down, push it away. Maybe it lifts, maybe it doesn't. And then again, push down hamstring and then push abs. Yeah, good. Now, you can hold that. And if it feels appropriate, float your other leg up and then tap that toe down. And then float it back up. Yeah, good. Now, if you want, you can rotate towards the knee. Yeah, same. Trying to keep both hips still and stable. How's everybody doing? Good? Okay, good. If you need to, put the other foot down. You can also use your hand to help you here if you need to, okay? 4, 3, 2 more, yeah. Last 1. Put that foot down, head comes down, switch out your legs. Ta-da, we're almost there, you guys. Push that foot down. Push it away from you. If as you push it away, your hips and back move, that's when we get to use that core connection to keep it stable. Push down and away. And maybe this is where you are. Maybe you lift your chest. Head and down, hamstring, push. I can always feel when I'm doing it wrong versus when I'm doing it right. So when I'm doing it wrong, I feel my hip flexor, but not much else. When I'm doing it right, it becomes this like tremble at the end of it, yeah? 2 more. Unless this is where you are, in which case, keep going with that. Otherwise, hold and then flip. And then tap and flip. And if this is where you are, great. If you'd like, add a rotation. Yes, and back. Still trying to keep both hips still and stable. We're trying to find pure rotation of the ribs, not for any other reason than it gets both internal and external oblique at the same time. 3, 2, last 1, and everybody come down. We're going to do some roll-ups, but first, extend both of your legs here. Now just kind of feel where your hips and pelvis are, right? I'm hoping that you're able to find neutral, which is where your hip bones and pubic bone are about in the same plane. Now just see if you can go from neutral to imprint here. So if as you imprint, you have to bend your knees, that's okay. That might just be an indicator that your quads or hip flexors are a little tight, right? And try it again. If that's the case, you might choose to bend your knees slightly on this next move, okay? Bring your hands to the sky, arm bones relax down. If you can, bring your arms overhead. And then as they come forward, inhale, imprint, and curl forward. Yeah, good. Now, this is a really complex move, so close. There's some pads right there, those gardening pads. Up, yeah, right there. So put one lengthwise, yeah, widthwise underneath your back, and that might help, yeah. And then curl all the way down. Yeah, yeah. And I would take it just a little bit farther away from you. Yeah. And let your spine sink into it as you curl and lift. Yeah, that looked great. Yeah, that feel a little better? Yeah, good. Now, if you don't have anything to put behind your back and it's still hard and you feel like you're getting stuck, use a leg, right? No problem. Sometimes it's about strength. Sometimes it's about muscle tension. Sometimes it's just about our nervous system agreeing to do something versus not, right? So I used to get stuck here, and my general way of trying to get out of it was wrench it up, which didn't actually help me get stronger or better at the move. So I tried the pad and it helped a lot. And then I tried legs when I didn't have the pad, also helped a lot. Now it's no problem, right? So honor where your body is, not where you think it should be, because it's going to change from day to day. Maybe yesterday you went for like a long hike or bike ride, right? Maybe last weekend it was 115 degrees and you didn't drink as much water as you thought you should, right? Like that changes the way our tissue responds. 2 more. Good. Last one. And then see if you can cross one foot over the other and come into a partially kneeling position. Ha-ha! Yeah, it's okay. And then take it back, switch legs. If you have any kind of knee issues, that's like, don't do anything that feels bad. Hey, guess what? If you have to, use your hand, it's okay. Yeah, we're just seeing where we are. Good. Yeah. Now, however you need to, I'm going to try to get up without using your hands if you can. Yeah, great. Good. Now, speaking of which, let's try some single leg squats. I say single leg squats as opposed to lunges because it is a split squat, but we're still trying to keep our weight mostly on this front leg and ignore our back leg. So check out your back foot. If it's pointed out, I'd like it pointed forward. If it's so far back that when you bend here, your knee is like, I can't bend, bring it closer to you, okay? Think about this foot pushing into the floor, this knee dragging you down, then push into the floor. Yeah, and again. Only go down as far as it feels good and appropriate. Yeah. Now, if you want, you can lift the foot, hold your balance, and slowly take it down. Know what this is good for? Hey, guess what? We just tried it, getting up and down off the ground, right? Now, if you're like, yeah, this is easy, come down, come into a plank, bring up forward, and then up. Yeah. Down, plank, forward, up. Good. This is the only type of burpee that I'm okay with. right? Two more on this side. Last one on this side. Then we get to do the other side. So just start with seeing where you are, right? I'm gonna turn this way. Yeah. Think about that front knee dragging you down. Yeah. Good. If it feels okay on your knee, let your knee come forward a little more. Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to drag it forward, but let the ankle joint just move more. Yeah. Beautiful. Is that easier? A little bit? Yeah. Good. Now, if you're like, cool, I'd like to balance, go for it. That's what I get for trying to look behind me. Yeah. And if you're like, cool, I'd like to plank, boom. No, no. If you do one, oh, Suze, keep those hips up though. Thank you. Good. Yeah, and that's okay. Belly button up a little. Yeah, there you go. Good. So instead of thinking of one long line from your ears to your toes, think of one long line from your ears to your hips. Yeah. So it's more of a flat rather than a down. Better. Good, last one. And all the way up. We're gonna do a nod, hollow, and roll. All the way down. And breathe into your back. Scoop and roll all the way up. Think about your thumbs. Point them forward, point them out. Elevate your collarbones. One more like that. Rotate, elevate. Slide your shoulders to your ears. Drop them straight down. Give yourself a round of applause. Nice work today. Thank you so much for joining me. You guys are awesome. Nice work. Nice work.